Hi everyone. What I will say before anyone asks me any questions is I've been reading about psychoanalysis and stuff, and it's very interesting, and I think it could be something that could help people here. Might talk about it more in a minute. Thinking of buying cannabis oil. I know it won't cure me or anything, but I thought it would lower my anxiety, muscle pain, and improve sleep. Go for it. You could try it. If I was to go back in the day, like when I wasn't really sure what I was doing to recover, I would have definitely have tried cannabis oil. I would have expected too much from it, but you can always use it as like a potentially something that could aid your body. You know, I hear a lot of good things about it. Yeah, if your sleep isn't um like if you're not sleeping, you still have that wired feeling. Yeah, it's very difficult to move forward when your sleep isn't right. It's the most important thing. So important. But no, I have a book. Um, let me. Do you think going to the gym and exercising will help you feel better and more positive in regards to social anxiety and life in general after you recover? For sure. Like, I mean, when like because of my shoulder, I've not really had chance like a proper chance to do the gym, and it really does affect you in terms of not in social anxiety anymore for me, but just my overall well-being. Like if I can't work out, I definitely feel it. As in, I don't feel as um, energetic to like get on and do something. I don't know. It's like the gym. The gym, if it gives you, I don't know. Maybe it's the endorphins. I don't know. I definitely feel a lot better when I'm going to the gym. I'm just waiting for my shoulders to fully heal. What's your opinion on flaxseed oil? I used to take those, but I read about how um, oils can become rancid quite quickly. Um, and you have to make sure it's cold pressed, and then it's like costs a lot of money, and I just didn't bother with it anymore. I'm coming out of a crash. How long do you think it takes to get back to the things I was doing before? Depends. A lot of it depends. For example, when I ate pizza during my recovery and I had a crash because it messed me up so bad. I was very sensitive at the time. Probably took me 2 weeks to recover from that pizza incident. Let me know if you can hear me okay, because I haven't got my proper mic on. I haven't installed the drivers yet. In my opinion, the only way to heal is get in the rest and digest state, but I keep on being stuck on the internal fight or flight. Any experience to show on this? Yeah, if you're in fight or flight, you are not healing at all. End of discussion. You are not going to be getting anywhere. And there are so many different things that you would have to take into consideration when trying to get out of that. Are you in a toxic environment? Do you have to deal with toxic relationships? Do you feel drained after encounters with people you talk to? Have you looked at the psychology side of where you are right now? Because being chronically ill is going to have a negative impact on your mental health. Um, Obviously, diet's important. If you're eating inflammatory foods, it's just going to be aggravating your body. Are you sleeping properly? Or obviously, if you have poor sleep, you're going to be messing up your cortisol rhythms and everything. You have to like juggle all these different things and just slowly but surely keep consistent. For me, I had to get rid of negative relationships, all of them. I couldn't. they were just so draining. They counterintuitive, like when it came to healing. Did you try ashwagandha? Yes. I mean, when it came to ashwagandha, I did take it like before bed and stuff now and again, and I'm sure it was alright, but I started taking away as many supplements to make it less complicated. You know, I take vitamin D when I wasn't getting out. If I ever got an ulcer, I'd take zinc, and overnight the ulcer would be gone. Probiotics, obviously, is something I talk about a lot. But I just tried to reduce as many supplements as I could, just because it was expensive and it takes a lot of like juggling. Like when I had all these different supplements, it just made my head clogged up. How long did it take for your brain fog to fully go away? It's a hard one to say. I mean, this is the thing. A lot of times now, I can tell you advice on, like I just said about the fight or flight thing. But when people ask me pinpoint when this disappeared, you know, it's over 2 years ago now. I've really forgotten. It wasn't one of the first things that went away, that's for sure. Do you think fibromyalgia is curable? For sure. My personal opinion with fibromyalgia is, obviously you're overburdened, but there are little things like, here's one aspect of fibromyalgia I believe is the cause. When you're constantly in fight or flight, your body isn't repairing itself. Then you get like waste material building up in your muscles and stuff, which I believe will cause pain. That's one aspect of fibromyalgia, I believe, because when I was in constant fight or flight, my arms and my legs were so painful. I had to, you know, I say it all the time, but I had to use ice cubes on my, like ice packs on my arms because it was so bad. And I believe that's because I was constantly in that stress state of fight or flight, where obviously if you're going to fight, you're going to use your arms. And if you're running away, you're going to use the legs. So the blood pulls into the limbs. So I believe when the blood chronically pulls in the limbs, you get accumulation of waste that isn't being removed. You probably have poor sleep, therefore you're not getting rid of it even more, and it just week after week, month after month, if that's continuing, it's just gonna be constant pain. That's one of my beliefs anyway, from my experience. Do you suffer with visual snow, static vision? Don't know what that is. I don't think so. I had a lot of vision problems when I was recovering, but I don't know about that. When you got mono a year after you recovered, have you considered that it wasn't a new infection, but your body finally strong enough to clear an old infection that was the root cause of your CFS? Possibly. Never considered that. That could be true. Maybe my body went into remission and was able to tackle the root cause. Possibly, that is possible. I did a food intolerance test. It's called Umipro in Holland. Now the results tell me I can't almost eat nothing anymore. Have you heard about these tests, and what do you think about it? Take it with a pinch of salt. I think a lot of these people try and make money out of your desperation. What I will say is, if you have leaky gut and you are in fight or flight and you've had this problem for years, you more than likely have gained new allergies from your gut being messed up. So it's a difficult one because everyone's different, you know. I'm glad it wasn't me, but some people are intolerant to nightshades, so you have to really look at all different foods that could be causing you problems, and then get on probiotics and stuff like that just to help. There are other supplements. I didn't try them. I didn't need them, but you can look into them. I think one of them is like glutamine or something that's good for the stomach. Yo, Josh. Oh. So you think it's okay to try CBD oil to calm my system and hopefully get out of fight or flight? Don't expect that from cannabis oil. Don't expect to calm your system out of fight or flight just from doing cannabis oil. Don't expect that. It's a lot more deeper than that. Did you have a lot of sweating with even small amounts of physical exertion? Yeah, for sure. I think that here's another one of my theories, is that when your body's so burdened, it was trying its best to get rid of toxins. By sweating at small amounts of exertion, it gets rid of them quicker, maybe. Just another theory of mine. For how long did you feel good before being able to start doing things? Did it all happen really quick? What I will say is that the progress in the first 6, 8, 10 months was quite small. It's why I had slip-ups now and again, because I felt agitated. But once I got towards the end, it snowballed quickly. Yeah. So if you look back in my earlier videos, there was one on a bike where I was riding and filming at the same time. And videos around that time, like every week I felt like it was going like huge strides. And for the first 80% of my recovery, it wasn't like that at all. And it's what's very frustrating, because you're not sure if what you're doing is working. You need to add more things in or take away more things. It's very difficult to like juggle. Here's like sorting out a Rubik's Cube. I can sleep but wake up a lot due to sleep paralysis and a sort of anxiety. Once I wake up totally, it goes away. Do you have any advice for which I can stay asleep? I have no experience with sleep paralysis. I do have a lot of experience with anxiety. And a lot of people avoid looking at problems in their life, like it gets pushed to the back of their head because they feel like they can't sort it out. So say you have a parent that just stresses you out day in and day out, and you look for other reasons. Like you could be looking at your diet and going, you know, you're already eating loads of fruit and vegetables and everything else, and you're trying to take more things away, but you're just avoiding the fact that there's a huge part in your life that's going to be very, very difficult to tackle that needs to go as well. So with people in your position, do you have a lot of stress in your life? Do you live in a stressful environment? So it has a huge impact on the way you feel and weight and recovery. It's massive. When I was in my bad part of the crash, I felt so horrible I had a time fully resting. I ended up watching a lot of TV. Any tips during crash? During crashes, it's very easy to be extremely demotivated. And that's when I used the detox baths, because I felt like I could just turn off and it would take an hour or two out of my day. And it was helpful to me in terms of my psychological sense. I was able to turn off, but then it was also good because I put loads of detox things in there, like clay, vitamin C, all those things. But doing things like that, have a rule like I did where I never turned on any electronic device until 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's hard to get away from these things during the crash, and when I did watch TV, let's say, series or something, I'd watch something light-hearted or funny. Do you believe the cure for ME/CFS lies purely in diet, sleep, routine, or do you think there's something fundamentally wrong with bodily functions or cell energy production? I think so many people with ME/CFS like to think that, like I did, that there's something fundamentally wrong with their body. It doesn't make sense. But I think that the simple changes that are very difficult to implement and keep consistent at, are sadly, well, not sadly, I think you really do learn a lot from it. But those complete revamps in your life are going to help you for the rest of your life. Even when you recover, those things are going to enable you to live a fulfilled, healthy life. And it's the same with anyone. If you put them on a great diet, a great sleep routine, exercise, that person will feel better regardless of if they're ill or not. I do think everyone with ME/CFS has to really look at all those things. And if you still are having problems and you really, really 100% dedicate yourself and look at all different things that you need to change, then start looking at other like options, like let's say cannabis, or looking at cell energy production like ATP. But what a lot of people will find is that if they do this for a year, they're gonna feel different. And sometimes it didn't take you a year to get to this like problem. You know, it's the sad truth is that when I at the beginning of my recovery, I was like, if this takes 2 years, I'm going to dedicate every day to recovery. Otherwise, my life's over. And that's the changing point for me. Do you know about low FODMAP diet? Yeah, like, isn't that like something to do with insulin or something? I can't really remember. I've heard of it. What's the root cause of ME/CFS, in my opinion? I think it really is so. There's so many different things I could write. I could put early life, shit diet, formula fed, C-section, fully vaccinated with a low immune system, then growing up, because of your like lowered immunity and everything, catching like infections that end up you going to the doctor and giving antibiotics that go against like you. Well, you can't go against it. You're young or whatever. You just believe the doctor, and this just slowly just decays the body on top of bad diet. Then your sleep routine's bad because people are all on gadgets now, and all of it builds up to one day you're done. And then it's very easy to look at the last thing that happened to you. Maybe you had mercury fillings, or you had a stressful event, and go, this is the reason I'm ill. That's the only reason I'm ill. I'm recovering once that's sorted. It's very easy to look at that way. But my opinion is the root cause of ME is a huge variety of things. I don't think there's any one thing, unless it's like you work in a factory and you've had huge amounts of exposure to heavy metals or something like that. I think it's a huge variety of things that build up for years and years. Yeah, that's why I mentioned trying cannabis oil alongside better sleep. My stomach problems and anxiety are so bad that I don't feel like I'm recovering or resting. Yes, the worst stage of recovery is getting out of fight or flight. That is the worst part. Once you're out of fight or flight, it's a home run. Do you have a hair? Did you ever have a hair mint? I did order one and I actually cancelled it when I was recovering because I was like, hang on a minute. Let's say I spend 100 quid on a hair mineral analysis, yeah, and it goes, oh, you're high in iron or you're high in copper, which I did a urine test that said I was high in, oh shit, what was it? So a heavy metal. And I was like, okay, I could spend that money, or I could just like treat myself as if I did have it anyway, just cover all my bases. So what did I do? I like the clay masks and stuff. Clay, there were a couple of times when I consumed clay as well because it's a negative ion which attracts like heavy metals and stuff. So I just did things like that, detox baths, and I just hoped my body would sort it out, and it did. I can't afford to live away from my parents. I'm only 17. This is a lot of people what I talk to. They tell me, here's my diet, here's this, here's that. And I go, what's your environment like? And they're like, stressful. And the sad truth is that it's very difficult to not be triggered by your environment when it's stress day after day. And maybe you could look at trying to change your response to stresses, or living in such a way where you become very agreeable and you try and avoid conflict as much as possible just for your own sake. It's a difficult situation. I was doing well in terms of recovery, then my mum got diagnosed with cancer, so obviously it's been a stressful time. Now my energy is low. Do you think my energy will return? obviously, when it comes to life events like that, stress is a huge killer in the world. Like, obviously, that's going to make your energy low. There's no one that's going to go, my mum got diagnosed with cancer and my energy was higher. Just stick to your good routine and everything, and understand that you are going to feel worse for a while, but make sure you look after yourself during that time. Don't slip up, because then it will just make things worse. I had an experience that was extremely stressful, and it was a massive source. Like, I've never really gone into it, but a massive source of my stress in my life, and it does get better with time. You have to be patient. You really have to be patient with this. My doctor recommended me trying cortisol because there are studies showing that CFS patients have lower cortisol in the morning. Could use. Look, you have lower cortisol. Oh my god, my adrenals were absolutely messed up. I couldn't sleep for more than half an hour a day. My cortisol was just out of whack. You have to get to the root cause. If you start taking cortisol, you just like putting a plaster on a sinking ship. Like, what's your sleep like? How's the stress in your life? Do you have negative relationships that you need to get rid of? All these different things are going to help you. Obviously, your sleep pattern, you need to get to bed at, like, when it's really bad, start going to bed at 8. Turn off electricity an hour before bed. Not looking at any technology, and just do that for month after month. Do you still eat a lot of greens and broccoli now you're recovered? I eat less. Sometimes I go through periods where I go, you know what, I need to eat more greens, and I'll just have, I don't know, 20 portions of greens in one day. But generally, I'm not as strict. You talked once about doing rebounding. How long did you do it for? Did you do it more toward the end of your recovery? No, it was, I didn't do it for very long. You know, I don't know. I guess I could have been a bit less lazy, but it wouldn't harm you to put that in, because it like cleanses the lymph, like gets it moving. So it's worth adding. If you don't really have to do it, but it might be worth adding for you. Sarah, maybe it would be great for your mum to also take some of these tips, like a mainly vegan diet, really helpful for cancer. Yeah, there were oh, what's that famous university in America? The most famous one. Anyway, they did studies on cancer patients and fasting, and they were showing how the body reboots during fasting for 3 to 5 days. Like, it reverse damage of chemo and stuff like that. So that might be something you want to look into. What is it called? I can't remember. It's the most famous American university. Never had some good results with cannabis, or have had some good results. Expensive, very expensive. Main thing is doing all the stuff you say, though. Yeah. It would be amazing if you could take cannabis oil and have all your stuff sorted out, but sadly that's not the case. Marlene, I had a saliva and urine test a couple of years ago, and I had high cortisol in the morning and got lower throughout the day. CFS is a mix of thyroid, autoimmunity, leaky gut, food intolerance, bad gut flora, adrenal fatigue, chronic fight or flight big time, mitochondrial problems caused by chronic infections. Yeah, I can't disagree there. Hi James, I've finally left my stressful home and now at uni, behind on coursework but recovering daily. I'm getting some financial support from home. Did you get any support? What about benefits? Yeah, I got support from my family. That's the extremely important point to make, because I know some people don't get that support, and it was extremely helpful. You know, I didn't get support in any other way, but I got support for food and a roof over my head. Not everyone has all of them, but that's why there is no saliva bullet for this illness. Silver bullet. James, I've started a 2-week juice plan. The juices are sent to me. It was devised over 1670. I know you've talked about detox, but what do you think? I think sometimes juice plans can be beneficial, but sometimes it can be, like for me, when I was consuming green juices, oh my God, I felt like hell. Now, people can tell me that's detox, but it was detox every time I did it. You know, I recovered without doing those juices. I think that sometimes it can be a bit stressful on the body. You know, I decided to go a different way about it, but you could try it. You need to see how you feel on it. You know, a lot of these people that say you're detoxing if you feel worse, of course, recovery isn't linear. However, you have to take it with a pinch of salt when people say, if you're feeling worse, you're detoxing, you're doing it right. I felt worse on juices. Harvard, yeah, it was Harvard University, and they did a study on the benefits of fasting to reverse chemo damage, and it was quite interesting. Dust mite allergy is a big problem for me. Had headaches for months because I was too tired to change my sheets. Just warning for people, it can be a trigger. Do you have dust mite? I'm sure I do. I have to change my bed every 3 or 4 days, even now. And sometimes I got really lazy with it and I just take the sheets off and sleep on it just like that. But yeah, I definitely have an allergy to dust or something, because even now, like when I go to bed, sometimes my nose, I get congestion. It's so hard to stick with the sleeping routine when you just can't sleep night after night. You have to do it. There's no other way. Any tips not to go insane with insomnia? Well, what helped me was eating every like 2 or 3 hours. I know it's not going to be for everyone, but that's what helped me. Baths, long baths, resting. Like it is, you have to. What I did was imagine myself going through like the trials and tribulations to become like a gladiator or something, and looking back to the times where I pushed through the shit, and looking back and realizing that that person in that moment got me to where I am now. Like I did random stuff like that. And funnily enough, when I did recover, I look back and I go, that person was like a legend. Like, I'm so glad that person went through all that shit so I could be where I am now. If you understand what I'm trying to say. Do you have refined oils now? Yeah, I'm not as fussy when it comes to stuff like that. I have refined oils now. I'm currently changing my sleep pattern. Do you think it could harm me taking cortisol a few days or weeks? My opinion is you have to be completely honest with yourself, dedicate yourself to recovery, give it 3-6 months. If you're still having problems, try it. Like I wouldn't, like obviously don't take my word over a doctor's, but when it came to doctors, obviously they just put a plaster on a hole that's not really fixing the root cause of the problem. I did a juice cleanse for 60 days. It just messed up my gut even more. Yeah. Like there are, for example, kale, depending where you get your kale, is a high absorber of cadmium or something like that. And they have oxalates in. So when you're juicing them, taking away the fiber, you're just getting that straight hit of oxalates and stuff like that. And it can mess people up. Obviously, it works for some people, not everyone. I've personally felt worse on green juices. I still do. I don't like having them. I prefer to eat my veg any day. I was getting worse after 8 months using only natural health solutions, now getting some relief with low dose naproxen. What natural health solutions were you doing? How were you getting worse? Maybe those solutions that you were doing weren't actually solutions in the first place. Like I said with the juices, like a lot of people will tell you that's a natural health solution, but in my case, I felt a lot worse doing those things. Nervous to try CBD as a like I said, I know it's not a cure, but I would like to try and get some relief. If you just want some relief in the moment, it might not be a bad thing to try. It's just very expensive from what I've seen. What are your thoughts on vitamin IVs? I won't comment. I don't know enough about it. Hey, James. When you had a relapse crash, does that mean starting over from square one again, or is it more like pushing the pause button for a few weeks? Pause button. It's not at all starting over at square one. Thanks, James. Right on. No need to punish RE detox. I have done a short detox before. This one has things like hemp linseed in it. Also, almond milk smoothies. I'm doing a diary on it. Well, it's good to keep a diary. I wish I kept a diary on my diet, but yeah. I'm glad my sleep rhythm is stable now from 10 till 8. Next to this, what would you recommend now I do, like daily food recommendation and other things? That's really good. Like, sleep is the most important thing. Like, have you cut out gluten and dairy yet? Are you eating lots of like fruits and vegetables, depending on how you tolerate certain things? Do you live in a stressful environment? Do you need to cut some friends that are just toxic to you? There's so many different things that we can talk about individually. Do you feel like you've bottled up emotions for long periods of time? There is a lot of things that you have to confront. Obviously, sorting out diet. Don't know about your weight.Maybe you've had a history of under eating that you might want to look into. You know, I remember I put on quite a bit of weight during recovery, but I feel like it was for the better. Because I did have a history of just eating once a day because I was just too tired to even bother. Kale, thallium. I'm sure there's cadmium in it as well. So when you're just juicing that and you're having like a juice of just like kale and whatever else, like you're just getting a hit of that. Can do, yeah. In my mind, it's not detox, just a way to get the best of that into me without too much digestive energy. That's why I've done this. Also, you can eat avocados, bananas. You know what? There is merit to that. There's a lot of people that feel better on detoxes, so you just have to see what works. Like at the moment, I'm 3 days raw vegan. I'm just having like a week or two break from eating so much, just giving my body a bit of a rest. Let me no, but this is yeah, what am I eating right now? Loads of clementines. I struggle during crash eating, plus I don't eat the best. Sometimes it's gluten-free toast. During crash, I believe that what helped me during recovery when I crashed was eating, obviously, that's 100% healthy. When it comes to gluten-free toast, it's just horrific. It's got so many ingredients in it, it's just worthless, like, to even eat it. I will say I need to do, I did make a sourdough gluten-free bread a couple months ago, and it was the best gluten-free bread I've ever had. And it, like, you wouldn't miss real toast. And it wasn't made with all these added fillers and everything. It was just chickpea flour, rice flour, buckwheat flour, and pineapple juice as a sweetener, and it was really nice. But like, for example, when you crashed and you're just eating like gluten-free toast and stuff, it's not decent. You just need to get loads of antioxidants into you and give your body a helping hand. Loads of fruit and like berries, and make sure you're eating enough calories, because I believe that even though you're sedentary, to be chronically ill and burdened, it's like your body requires, I believe, a lot more energy than the average person. That's what it felt like for me when I'm going through like a period where I'm feeling I don't know, because there's two different trains of thought with this. Like when you are like in a vulnerable state or burdens, people say that you shouldn't give your body food that's going to be hard to digest and stuff like that, or too much eating. But at the same time, it is your energy, so I guess you just have to try for yourself. Like, yeah. I love my parents dearly. I wonder whether I have separation anxiety from my mum. Probably. She's probably a safe haven. When no one else understands you, she probably does. Maybe that's it. I wouldn't advise like going somewhere where you're scared to live. There's no way to do it. But it's just like when the situation I was in, recovery was not possible. It was equivalent of being like in a world war. It was that bad. I get depressed when I stop going on my phone or disconnect from friends, so I don't know whether to stick at it and be lonely or try and have everything. You just have to weigh it up, I guess. Like, I never felt like that, so maybe you should keep in contact with your friends. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. On gluten-free toast, finally I've cut out all processed bread. Your comment at looking at food and being like, is this actually helping me, helped me banish them. Yeah, exactly. It's just solidified processed flour. Like, unlike this, it's very easy to digest, full of vitamins, has a lot of hydration, like water in it. Yeah, like that's more beneficial than a piece of toast. Yeah, you probably don't realize it. It's very difficult to confront things like this. Obviously, they don't understand. If they've never been ill, they won't understand. Green juices and buckwheat messed me up. Just as a warning, I ended up with super high oxalates that affected my mitochondria and gave me more pain. That's what I mean. That's the same as me. Like, yeah, I felt, oh my God, I felt like, I swear when I had green juices, I'd go in the mirror and I'd have massive dark circles. And I just felt like I'd been smacked in the face. Um, the unrest film. Now, like you said, she was drinking coffee at a an event, and obviously she's trying to get a bit of energy to stay like, or what is she doing, a press conference? But that anyone that has been through this illness understands how awful stimulants are for recovery, especially with fight or flight. Absolutely awful. Um, I wouldn't even get yourself involved with things like that. These people, it's like they're hoping, they're like praying to the establishment, please find a cure for us, please. Like, there's people still dying of cancer and stuff. Like, people aren't going to take this illness seriously, not for a very long time at least. Are you prepared to wait for somebody else to fix you when no one really, like, think about it, no one knows what it feels like to feel like you do right now. No one really cares at the end of the day, because the only people that care are the people that are feeling it day in, day out, 24/7, never letting up. That's when you're like, this is a big deal. But if you're not feeling that way, you just don't get it. If there's no risk of death in the near future, people are just like, get over it. Start getting involved and then quickly discovered it was a toxic world. Yeah, it is a toxic world. they love the like drama of it. They love the idea of just being, I don't know, it's just fucking weird. Like when you go on these forums, it's the same. It's like they're like, when someone goes, oh, I recovered, they're like, yeah, right. There's no cure. What are you on about? It's just it's like they enjoy being ill. It just doesn't make any sense. You really have to hit rock bottom. That's why I was ill for so long. Social media is cancer, I swear. I got rid of all mine apart from YouTube. Like when probably a year ago on this channel, I had a website, I set up a Twitter, I had Instagram, I had all these things, and I cannot stand social media now. I think it's cancer personally. There's a lot of good it's done, like YouTube. Look, I'm sharing my story with you, can help you or whatever, and you get benefits from watching other people. It's good, but there's also, for all the good it's done a lot of shit as well. Just don't get involved in it. If those people want to stay ill, then whatever. It is negative. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's obviously, I wouldn't say do not watch this film, but I will say just don't get dragged into it. I got dragged into that stuff for years. Is it worth watching? It's good. It's just another form of elitist mind control. Like, I don't know what they're expecting. I really don't. Why are people waiting for the establishment to do studies to find what drug they can sell you to give you benefit? Obviously, it's easy for me to say this in hindsight, but believe in yourself and the laws of the universe. We are also God, and through believing in all this, you will be able to reach your full potential as a human being and able to obtain universes, endless and limited potential energy. I can definitely resonate with believing in yourself. When I believed in my body and I believed in myself and I believed that this would end, I don't think it was just, I think there was more to it than what it did for me. I think it really did do something for me when I really believed it. How did you get dragged in, James? Oh, just, with when I used to be on I used to scout Phoenix Rising, Cure Zone, all these different places, and all these people would try all these crazy treatments, and you get the occasional person that said, I cured myself by having B12 injections or a certain supplement, and I'd rush to buy it, and I'd just read the comments, and it was just, it didn't mean no good. Like, obviously I was naive. I didn't know anything. I didn't know anyone in real life that had this problem. So obviously you're going to fall into things, but I think I just feel trapped whatever I do, and I'm becoming more tempted to buy cheap thrills. What, like? I can understand that. There was a few times, I've never been a drinker. There were a few times when I think there's probably, 3 or 4 times, probably spaced 6 months apart, before I started my recovery properly, where I stole my grandma's Valium and had 50 milligrams in one night and drank alcohol with it and smoked a cigar. Because I was so sick of being sick and no answers that I really didn't care if it fucked me up even more, because it's like, my body's fucked anyway. Why should I bother? It's very easy to feel that way and trapped. It is very, like, I'm just remembering now how fucking awful that feeling is. To the point where you're willing to just damage your body even more, because it's like, who the fuck cares? I'm getting nowhere. My doctor that I asked for a diagnosis, permission to take time off school, thought I should start exercising and moving my body instead of recovery. Fucking hell. When you really don't feel like exercising and your body's telling you, like by giving you aches or serious fatigue, that's your body going, don't fucking do anything. The main pick of the film is director with 2 boxes of drugs. For God's sake. See, they want drugs. I don't get it. What do you feel about Lyme disease? I was misdiagnosed with it, and the doctor tried to give me antibiotics and shots, and it made me even more sick, and people need to chill with this diagnosis. It's dangerous. That's bad. Misdiagnosis, then antibiotics when you don't have an infection. You know, I've posted in the past, there's 2 guys that gave me inspiration if I had Lyme disease, and they had been through the route of IV antibiotics and everything. They destroyed their health even more. They'd done that for over a year, and they got nowhere. And I was like, it's just insanity. People, like, the other thing that stopped me chasing the diagnosis was, if I get my diagnosis, what will change? The medical establishment have nothing for me. All I do is get a label. Now, I understand if you need to do that for benefits, let's say, because you're too ill to work. But I wasn't in that position, luckily. But if you're not in that position, you don't need a diagnosis. Like, if people don't believe you, you're never going to get them to understand what it feels like. I find it hard to always be positive and thankful every day all the time, and people say you have to recover. How was that for you? Did you manage to be positive? No, stop. Like, it is, obviously you don't want to dwell on negativity, but allow yourself to be angry. Allow yourself to be pissed off. Like, you don't want to sit there and just go down and down and down, but allow yourself to feel things. Don't constantly block things out. So if you're feeling negative, just like witness it. Don't push it away, because if you push it away, it'll just keep coming back. Like Carl Jung, was it Carl Jung said about, if you block off thoughts, it's like a beach ball in the water. If you push it down, it's going to come back up even more severe. Just understand that it's okay to be negative about your situation. Just don't dwell. The difference is if between feeling thankful and dwelling in negativity is just to go, regardless of how I'm feeling in my emotional state, I am going to do my routine regardless. That's the most important thing. Well, my energy is so low that anything that makes me feel normal or a little bit happy, like masturbation or a lot, or even just going out with friends, even though I'm actually dead inside. Yeah, see, that's a thing that I fell into as well, and it's actually counterproductive. So more counterproductive for men, I think, just because you lose like vitamins, minerals, and everything. But those short-term pleasures are your long-term vices. They end up coming to bite you in the ass. So you can do short things every day that will make you feel better, like eating pizza, watching action movies, then busting a nut. But in the long run, all you're going to do is look back and go, I've wasted so much time and it's not got me anywhere. All it does is just keep you where you are. And obviously you're going to feel depressed if you keep where you are, because you're depressed. You're not moving, you can't do anything. I love watching these. You give me such encouragement and hope. You give me the boost I need to keep on with my routine. I just keep crying all the time a lot. I think I waste all my energy on sadness. Well, it's understandable if you're feeling upset. Like I would sometimes be, I don't know, pouring a glass of water and just start crying. It's understandable that you're in a situation that not many people have to deal with. You're alone. There's no one that probably understands you, how you're feeling in your life. And your life passes you by. Who's going to be happy in that situation? You put anyone in that situation. It doesn't matter what they have, whether they have loads of money or not. If they feel that way, you will just feel sad. You're going to feel depressed. Health is everything. It really is. If you don't have your health, you really don't have much in this life. That's why I didn't care about dying, at my worst point. That's why I was willing to do those risky things, because I just didn't care. Next, be careful. The doctor doesn't have a clue about what can happen with ME/CFS graded exercise. It's not advised in the US anymore. It's easier response from a point of ignorance. Agreed. Yeah, it destroyed my stomach. This is a guy that had antibiotics for Lyme disease that he didn't have, and made my symptoms even worse, and I swear it gave me pops completely. I gave up on diagnosis. I'm 90% better the second I gave up and stopped worrying. I got better. Accepting where you are and then looking to get yourself out of that situation and not worrying and thinking about all these diagnoses and things is helpful. It rests. You feel more rested. You can get better. Don't give up. I cried for months on end. I wish for death, and now I'm 90% better and going to work again soon. I've been going through bad sleep patterns, on phone till 3 a.m, then up at 12. Finding discipline and self-control to set a routine is very important. Now, people don't like hearing this, but when it comes to routine, in the moment where you're supposed to be doing something, you do it. You don't go, oh, shall I do it? Shall I do this? Or how I'm feeling? You just do it. You go, this is going to benefit me 6 months, 9 months, 12 months from now. I'm going to commit to this every day. You really had to commit. That sleep routine is awful. You miss all the most beneficial time to be sleeping, which is 10 till 2. It's the most, I can sleep 10 till 2 a.m, get up and feel great, and I can sleep from 1 a.m. until, I don't know, 12 in the afternoon and just feel like staying in bed and feel awful. It's to do with your cortisol rhythms and stuff. ME/CFS, POTS, fibro, immune dysfunction, Lyme disease, virus, bacteria, vaccine can trigger the illness. Be careful with antibiotics. People with immune dysfunction have less diverse. Yeah, one of the things that I had that was before I crashed was a flu jab, or BCG jab. If you Google, there's actually girls. There's a girl in the UK that said that her ME was from the BCG jab. Now, I'm not someone that believes that, but I believe that it had a contributing factor to it. But I think it's the girl that actually died. Oh yeah, Lewis, when you shift up your sleeping pattern, don't expect to sleep very well for at least a few months. Sleep takes a long time to fix. If you've been doing that pattern for years, yeah, it will take a while. I got a lime on paper too. There's a channel. There's a channel called Arnold's Way. If you go in the search part of the channel and type in Lyme disease, listen to some of those stories. They're people that have been on IV antibiotics and stuff and recovered. They're the ones that gave me inspiration not to go for try for a diagnosis or anything. But yeah, when you get to the point where you can read, that's beneficial as well. Because in the beginning, I couldn't read. I couldn't hold the book up in bed. Hurt my arms. I cut all sugar and most carbohydrates out of my diet. Feeling awful. No, yeah, that's not detox. You're either waiting to go into ketosis, or I agree with cutting out all sugar, but the healthy carbohydrates, add them back in. I bet you feel a bit better. You could try the ketogenic diet. If you took away all my carbohydrates, and I'm not someone that's I do not promote only carbohydrate diets. I promote a balance of carbs, fats, protein. I don't believe you would just, for example, sweet potatoes is very healthy. Why would you cut that out? Like, why would you cut out carbs that are healthy? Why would you cut out fats that are healthy as well? I don't understand. Don't trust IGenics. Anyone can test positive on IGenics. It's not approved by FDA. I was tested with a 10-week culture test and it was absolutely negative. Yeah, some of these companies that aren't regulated are massive scams. Like, when you first become ill, you get so angry at the establishment that you go to the opposite end of the spectrum, and they're scam artists as well. At least stuff regulated by the FDA for, let's say, a test for Lyme disease. You know what you're getting. IGenics have an ulterior motive, and that's to make loads of money from people that are desperate. They're capitalizing on the fact that a lot of doctors won't give you Lyme tests. Did you go to special events during your recovery? If so, any tips? No, I went to no special events. What do you think of Dr. Myhill's work? A lot of people say a lot of beneficial things about her. I read her when I was recovering. One thing that we can agree on is to get dairy and gluten and sugar and shit out of your diet when you're recovering. Yeah, no, I had a similar thing, Danny. Like, the few times that I did drink, yeah. I'm not sure what that is. What was I gonna say? I looked up this years ago. Can't remember. Like, when I say don't cut out carbs. Do I drink alcohol? I've probably drunk alcohol twice this year. Can't say I'm a fan. The only times I've had it is like a pina colada. I don't drink anything else really. Regarding my hair, like it is thicker, but there are, see, you can see there is bits of thinness. I don't know whether that's the lighting. See, there is a bit of thinness there, but it's a lot better than it was. Like if you look in the beginning, like I had to just shave it. It was that bad. But there are parts of thinness in my hair, but you can't really notice it that much in real life. Like that's why I don't shave it anymore. Ascorbic, no, not ascorbic acid. The other one, I can't remember it. Scorb, it starts with an S. Danny, not sure this positive thing, to be honest. It's perhaps a cycle where it suppresses and then symptoms flare up again. Facebook on Instagram? No. Not sure how to message here, so if you want to talk, and you can reach me on Instagram. Yeah, sodium ascorbate. That's the one I used. Oh. Yeah, I'm still debating whether I, like, obviously you have the side where it says ascorbic acid is the same as vitamin C because it's same structure, but a part of me is debating whether that really is the case. Would you rather have vitamin C from one of these or ascorbic acid that's made in lab? But then again, who's that famous? Well, the woman that comes out, but what's her name? She does. She uses as a protocol for children with whooping cough, sodium ascorbate. Yeah, but there's people that say apricot seeds cure cancer, and it's like being suppressed because it's so good. B17 or something. Like it literally cures cancer if you just take this B17 from a seed of an apricot. Like, you can't do a lifetime of damage to your body and just cure it from one single action, like fucking apricot seeds. Yeah, I bought in bulk 2.5 kilograms for £13. I'll probably close the stream soon. Yeah, quick, easy fixes are a prey on people. Like, I looked for them for years. What supplements do I recommend taking? Probiotic, even though, like, most of them is shit. So, ideally, fermented foods, water kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi. I recommend probiotics, especially if you have a history of antibiotics. I recommend vitamin D during winter months if you're not getting much sun. It's very important for the immune system. I took 10,000 UIs a day during winter. I recommend zinc for the immune system. For example, when I used to get ulcers, I'd feel an ulcer coming, pop a zinc, next day it's gone. So yeah, I used to have ulcers every week when I was ill. No, that's cool. I was thinking about starting a health recovery website where it's just a forum. I might do that. Yeah, I'm on NoFap. Yeah, I used to have ulcers all the time. Next time, when you have an ulcer, get the right one. I don't know what the right one is, but there's different types of zinc. You'll have to research it. Next time you feel it come in, pop one. Oh yeah, for sure. Um, this is a complicated subject. I mean, yeah, zinc for ulcers. With the fapping thing. Okay, so when you don't fap, that energy has to go somewhere else, and it makes you more motivated in life to do things and get things done. When I was recovering, like, obviously I wasn't perfect during recovery because I had a lot of spare time on my hands. Like, I'll probably do it once a week, but no, it improved my life huge amounts. I mean, also, like, no fat why I started really is because of the porn thing, and it messes up with your head, and it damages relationships. It is poison for your head, really. And I feel a lot better without it. And the change you have in how you view sexuality and stuff off of it is quite scary. The fact that these corporations have such an influence on your sexuality without you even realizing it. So, like, I grew up, it was normal, but I was like indoctrinated almost by that without even knowing about it. I suspect that my brain fog was due to old habit. Probably. I believe during recovery when you have not that much energy as well. Yeah. Okay, so with porn, like, it's huge dopamine hits and it desensitizes your dopamine receptors. And anything like that doesn't give you that kind of level of dopamine just seems not worth it in the brain. Watching porn at 30, no good idea for my mind. Yeah, this isn't good for your mind, it really isn't. I am. Oh, but the thing is, people wait for proof to the benefits of NoFap rather than just trying and seeing it for themselves. If you do it for a month, you will see a difference. I believe that melatonin, if you fix your sleep, you won't need it. No, Optimum Health Clinic didn't devise my plan for recovery at all. It might be portrayed that way, but that's not really how it is. I used their psychologist for 5 or 6 sessions. That's it. That's all I had to do with the Optimal Health Clinic. Yeah, I've been lazy. I mean, I need to start uploading. I think I've made a list of video ideas that I actually want to do and put on my channel. I was thinking about broadening the topics of my channel to more than just health. I'm not sure yet though. I will get around to it. Earache. No, I never had earache really. Oh, ringing in the ears I did. I had tinnitus. Not all the time, but now and again. What do I eat during the day? Well, at the moment, I've got like probably 60, 70 satsumas on my desk and clementines. Because I'm just doing I'm giving my body a rest from all the eating. Because I eat a lot. But what do I eat in a day? Depends. Like, I've been eating out a lot recently, and I slipped up with gluten, and it doesn't affect me anywhere near as much as it did 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I had a crash. Now I can shrug it off. I get joint pain though, and it ruins my chance of ever working out. I can't do anything. So it's like I get rheumatoid arthritis from eating gluten. Have you suffered a bad scare or panic attacks sometime before starting the illness? Many claim that these things start after trauma. I believe that trauma does start things like this. Like it's like the final push over the edge when your body's burdened from all the shit that you've done before. But no, I had panic attacks out of nowhere. I wasn't someone that had ever had a panic attack before. And one day I was when I was 16, I was in sixth form, and I just stood, and all of a sudden I had a massive panic attack out of nowhere. It was really foreign, and all my symptoms started getting worse and worse and worse. Does bentonite stuff clog up the drain? Hope that's not a stupid question. You have to be careful. So what I do is when I do bentonite clay stuff, I run the hot tap on the hottest it will go for about a minute, just to make sure that it flushes away. Thanks for your answers and time. No problem. I get extreme balance issues, dizzy, sounds like POTS. Well, dark chocolate has theobromine in, which is actually stimulates your body. The times that I tried dark chocolate, I got nightmares when I was very sensitive. So, I mean, I like maybe a little bit's not bad. I don't know. You'll have to test it for yourself. But yeah, it used to give me nightmares. Do you have any limitations on how much you can and exercise? No. Like you wanted to ride your bike 250 miles per week, could you handle that in a week out? Yeah, I mean, I'd have to train up to that, obviously. Like I did 250 miles a week. Actually, that's not a lot. 50, that's like 40 miles a day. I could do that. Like at my most, I did 80, 90 miles in a day. But I ain't riding my bike in this weather. Riding bikes in winter is horrible. I fell off the wagon at Halloween. We had leftover Smarties and Maltesers. Mate, what about benzodiazepines? I'm really addicted to them and actually don't dare to wean it off. Benzodiazepines are, from my experience of talking to people that are on them and have withdrawals and stuff with ME, they're lethal shit. I don't know what that shit does to the nervous system, but it ain't good. I don't have enough knowledge on it. Like, I need to get a guest speaker on to talk about that subject, because a lot of people ask me about benzodiazepines. They're really addictive and they're extremely powerful. Oh, that's all. Oh shit, never really knew I might have POTS. What is it, and should I do the same thing? Yeah, I had POTS. Like, I just get new symptoms year after year when I wasn't fixing the problems. I guess you could watch it back, Michael. Do you notify us anywhere when you do these live chats? I pre-plan them. So on Monday, I put the event, and I think it shows it on your notifications, I think. I'm not sure. It's me. At my worst stage of CFS, I also have balanced this. Yeah, I think most people do. I'll probably close up the stream soon, although it's getting up to 30 viewers. Yeah, it was in notifications. It showed for me starting at 7 p.m. today. Maybe look into that next time. Yeah, I moved it down to 5 p.m. because I have a friend over. I've tried benzos 4 or 5 times, 4 or 5 days at a time. Every time bad withdrawals, sick even between doses. I figured out it was because benzos only after the last episode. No. Yeah, benzos are... It's crazy what they get away with. My friend is a combination of benzos and ME, and it just takes the piss. You know, the person that asked about the benzos, what is your B12 levels? Because every single person you ask that do benzos for any amount of time have low B12. I have no idea why that is. You want to chuck away your friend, but you're scared you'll lose your friends. Well, I can't really know about your life. All I'm going to say is I didn't own a phone during recovery, thank God. I've cut my usage down of these things dramatically, and I feel better for it. That's why I got rid of Instagram and stuff. Thank you. Thanks, Sam. Yeah, it is thicker than before. Yeah. I'll answer one more question. And if there's another one, I'll answer another good question. Yeah, I mean, what I noticed is that using it in the mornings was far worse in terms of how I felt, for whatever reason. It's porridge. I would say that it's always good to start the day with water and then eat, so that you, like, hydrate and everything. Like, eating porridge as soon as you wake up without hydrating can sometimes make you feel quite groggy. from my experience. I played my guitar now and again. Did I find potatoes super hard to digest? Well, during recovery, I never ate white potatoes. I do now, but I used to eat sweet potatoes and used to steam them. But I never had any problems digesting them. If you have a problem with nightshades, though, that might be an issue. I was thinking about doing a no-fat thing. Sometimes I was considering doing a political channel, like a separate channel, but I'm not sure if I want to do that. There were some other things I was thinking about. I was thinking about I can't remember. I had some other ideas that I wrote down somewhere. I never got around to it, but something that gets more viewers in. You know, oh, that was it. Just like spirituality or psychology and stuff like that. Like, I'm really fascinated by like self-realization and you know, of psychoanalysis. Yeah, I find it really interesting. That's cool, Emma. Any if anyone can tell Michael how to show notifications, that'd be cool, because I don't know. Did I eat soy and corn during recovery? Soy, I eat soy now, but during recovery, I don't think I ate soy much at all. As for corn, I had sweet corn and stuff. And now and again, when I really felt like I was going to crack in the beginning, I used to have corn tortilla chips when I was really craving stuff when I first went vegan, gluten-free. It was so difficult in the beginning. But as I went on, I started to remove those foods. Are you still joining the police? I think I've decided that I'm not interested in joining any service. It's too restrictive, and I think it's quite corrupt as well. Yeah, Eckhart Tolle Power of Now is a very interesting book to read. It gave me a very different perspective at a time I needed it. But I'm considering just getting a trade job and learning how to. Eventually, I'd love for 10, 15 years from now to be able to build my own house. That would be an amazing achievement. I'd love to do that. And getting a more, having a more sustainable, simple life. I'd love that. I can't do a job sat behind a computer all day. I've just done it for far too long, like computers and stuff. And obviously, I like being away from technology as much as possible. I love psychology and find spirituality really interesting. Got some imagination, inspiration from the Buddha. Yeah, I've been listening to Alan Watts recently. He's very interesting. I've just downloaded some Carl Jung. Gonna just listen to more when I'm in the car and stuff like that. Yeah, like the way people are living, I think like talking about things like this. Well, the way we're living is insane. I personally think the way we're living is insane. I don't know any. Just very rarely find someone that loves their job. You know, people are being sold a fucking lie, in my opinion. Like we people go into jobs they absolutely hate to, like for example, where I live, to rent like a 1-bedroom house or something. A 1-bedroom flat is like 900 quid a month. And say I was a policeman and I rented a flat, you're literally just paying paycheck to paycheck to have accommodation. That's no way to live. Where's the freedom? There's no freedom in that. I never had cheat days with gluten and dairy. So, like cheat days, I would have, there was these pies called Clive's pies, and they would be like, they were gluten-free, but they tasted, they were really nice pastry, and that kept me from like going back to my old habits. Now and again, I'd have a pack of tortilla chips in the beginning as well, because it kind of satisfied that salty, fatty thing. But it always had to be dairy-free, gluten-free. Now and again, I slipped up with sugar, but I think the most important thing was that day to day, I didn't eat sugar really. It was just now and again when I slipped up. That was in the beginning anyway. Yeah, I think a lot of people buy these things and expect too much from them. Right, guys, I'll close the stream now. I know people put their hope in these things. I remember when I spent 50 quid on a tub of D-ribose from America, and I got it, and I took it, and I was like, okay, when's it going to work? When's the energy, the ATP, going to start absorbing the D-ribose and start working properly? We imagine things in our head. What you will notice is that in adverts, let's say for example, toothbrushes, they show you the physical removal of stuff on your teeth, like plaque just falling away and all the stains falling away, and you don't realize that that's actually having an effect on you, and you want to get that product because it's showing the visually changing part. And I guess we imagine that when we buy all these supplements and stuff. James, when I'm recovered, I'm going to get into YouTube for recovery. I'll be getting into public speaking and gym videos, etc. a few years down the line. We need to do a collab vid. Yeah, for sure. It's always good to get more people talking about it. But yeah, thanks, guys. See you later.